As it turns out, J-Rod, you may be right about that because there are updates on the Pac-12. Are you guys, where are we at with this? I am with you. I'm tired of talking about it. James Knight, my guy, I'm feeling you. But how do we not talk about this? How is this not the biggest story in sports right now when you have the Pac-12 being leveraged by Amazon, and you also get this story that the Pac-12 and the ACC would like to merge in 3 to 5 years once their current TV deals end? This is a mess for the Pac-12, and it gets worse and worse every single day. Let's start with the news that if you're an insider on this show, if you've been watching this show for the last 6 months, you already know that Amazon is being very difficult to deal with for the Pac-12, as you would expect, because the Pac-12 simply has no leverage here. Is it all a surprise, Jake, that Amazon is playing hardball with George Kliavkoff?
No, I mean, there's no reason for it to be a surprise. I mean, there would be no other route other than that. I think if I'm Amazon, I'm not relenting. I'm not giving any kind of, sweetheart deal or hometown deal or whatever you want to call it. I'm not doing that. And I think Amazon, didn't get to the level it's at by being nice or by being, soft. They are at the level they're at because they've always done what's right for their business. So to me, I'm not surprised to hear this. And I think that, George Kliavkoff, once again, is in that position that we always talk about where you're between a rock and a hard place. Whether we're looking at the grant of rights side or we're looking at how much you're going to try and get for a TV deal or a distribution deal. And I think that every day that goes by that there's not one done, you hear these rumblings about how people sort of understand that. Amazon understands that. ESPN understands that. The major partners understand that, hey, you guys don't have any leverage, so we're not going to pay, $5 for something that we can get for $1. And that truly is the issue. And I don't know, where else George can go from here. I really do feel like the clock is basically winding out at this point, and you're about to hit zero, and you just got to get something done. And I don't think now that putting out that statement 2 weeks ago that said you guys were going to get a deal done, and you still don't have a deal done, now that's turned into kind of a bad look itself. So I don't really know if I'm George Kliavkoff what the game plan is here, other than doing my best to find another alternative to Amazon. And I don't know, while we're on the TV deal subject, I don't know how many people saw it, but the LIV Golf CW numbers came out, and they weren't exactly scintillating. So when I look around, it's not like you can just go to any TV network and think that you're going to get great viewership. You have to be somewhere that people know.
No, and the LIV numbers were actually horrendous. Nobody's watching LIV on the CW.
Yeah.
Nobody watched. And it's not a surprise. I just feel like we think in this country, in the television industry and in the radio industry for that matter, that we can just throw stuff on TV and radio and people are going to listen or watch. And I just don't think that's the case. And I look at this Pac-12 ACC merger, and this is where I really need you guys to weigh in here. Is it at all compelling to you that the Pac-12 and the ACC would merge together, and what games would be more exciting than what you have now? I mean, if you look at the ACC, and I can tell you from my time at a certain four-letter network, I created a certain hashtag about the ACC known as already crowned Clemson.
Because it's garbage.
And today I came up with a real butte that I was very proud of, the already crappy conference. What is it in the ACC? Florida State's been a massive disappointment, right?
Yes.
I think we can all agree with that. Since Bobby Bowden left, that place has been a dumpster fire. I think it's a basketball conference to begin and to end with. In football, it really is Clemson and everybody else. I don't know what it is that's attractive about the ACC other than it's just a hell of a lot more teams in one bigger conference that has east to west reach.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like you're going to all of a sudden change the fortunes on the field because of that, are you?
No, and I think that George Kliavkoff and company are looking for a way out. That's all this is to me. I look at this and I say, okay, you understand that your options are limited right now, and so you're in a position where you want to try and merge with another conference. But the problem is you missed that ticket. You know, that ticket where ESPN brought it up to you like a year ago that, you know, you and the Big 12, the conference you should have partnered with, should partner, and you said, oh, no, we're the conference of champions. We don't need them. You know, we don't need to be scooping piles of horse crap in Stillwater.
We don't need them.
You know, like that's the sentiment. And I think it's funny. It's classic Pac-12. Like, the irony in it is incredible that now we're at a place with this conversation where we've had it so much, and yet still there are new wrinkles coming out. In the latest one about how you are looking at creating the APAC, which is incredible to me, because the only reason you're doing that, it has nothing to do with quality of basketball or football. The quality is terrible. All it has to do with is resources, oh man, we got to pull the ejection cord here, and we got to find a way to survive another 5 years. Well, let's talk to the ACC, a conference that, you know, is probably going to have to work on its media rights deal in a couple years, and they're approaching that window. Like, you know, like that's what this is. And I get it. I'm not even blaming Georgie Pooh for taking this approach, but it just reeks of Pac-12 arrogance, because this should have been done already with the Big 12.
What I think it goes back to is our time at the shitty radio station in Phoenix. Because what was the big conversation then? Oh, Arizona State's not going to justify the existence of Grand Canyon University by playing them in a basketball game. I mean, we're ASU. We're the Pac-12. Who are you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the arrogance. We've dealt with this for a decade, for years and years and years. Member after member, you know, like you after you, saying we're not doing this because you're just down there. Mm-hmm. Like looking down their beak, if you will. And I think finally that's all come back to roost, because I will just again say, I think the big hammer here is not in the ACC's hand. I think it's in the Big Ten's hand, with all these rumors over the weekend that the Big Ten was targeting Washington, Oregon, Cal, and Stanford. If that happens, you're done. Like, you're just start digging the hole now. I would hope that you have a backhoe on like call, so that you can start digging the grave of the Pac-12. Because when the Big Ten comes calling, and if they take Oregon and Washington, Stanford and Cal, hasta la see ya.
Pack your shit. Let's go.
You're done. It's over.
That's it, Skippy.
Because at that point, what do you have left?
Nothing.
I mean, you've got 6 schools who really amount to nothing left.
Yeah.
And my feeling is most of those schools wind up in the Mountain West, with a couple of them going to the Big 12. And the damage that's been done in the relationship between the Pac-12 and the Big 12 through this very process, I don't know anymore if the Four Corner schools are a slam dunk. Which, frankly, I'm tired of hearing about Four Corners.
It's a gimmick label, dude. The Four Corner schools. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's stop saying the Four Corner schools. It's not the Four Corner schools, man. There's a group of particular schools, not all in the Four Corners, that are going to be attractive to the Big Ten. And you just listed them. And it's not Utah and Colorado and Arizona. Like, that's not what it is, man. And I think the Four Corners thing was such a gimmick and such a hype that raged for like 10 days and then has died off now. Like, I just look at this and I say, what else is there? If the vaunted APAC doesn't work out, where then will you go? And that's why we titled today's show, Amazon's not really going to budge on the Pac-12 TV deal, because they're not going to budge on it, because they know you have nowhere else to go. So while Amazon and ESPN are chilling at the bar having a beer watching you wilt away, let's see what you can get done with the ACC, man. That's where we're at.
Yeah, I don't even know what you say. I truly don't know what you say to anybody that is telling you this conference can survive, because I don't know how. I actually want it to survive, and I kind of wish Wilner and Cansano had some idea of what they were talking about. That'd be neat. I wish that the Yogi Roths and the mouthpieces of the Pac-12 had some idea of what they were talking about, but I cannot tell you how many people we talk to in TV that say it's over. There is no bag of cash coming. Like, it's $25 million. It's what you have now. That's the extent of it, unless something markedly changes in the next couple of weeks. Because I think the deal's been done and George has been out trying to get a better deal.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's what this is. This is what with the exception of Ion TV, because it's kind of been explained to me that they were working on something else related to spring sports that had nothing to do with this larger package. But everybody else, the people we talk to at every other network say, hey man, it's done. We're where we are. ESPN, sources at ESPN have told us for months, we're not moving. We gave them a number. That's it.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
And that's it. When the guys at Fox told us, hey, we're out, we're not interested in tier 1 or really tier 2, we just want Pac-12 basketball a couple of games a week, they haven't come off of that.
Yeah.
Fox is not back involved. Like, you look at the legitimate places that the Pac-12 can go, I'm telling you, I'll say it again. And Ryan Smith, I think I'm saying the same thing to you. Go all in on streaming, right? Like, this Utah Jazz TV deal is not dissimilar to the Pac-12.
Agreed.
Because you look at, and I think AT&T Sportsnet's a little different, but I think you look at the Bally Sports situation and the bankruptcy going on there, to me, that's where Scripps Sports comes in. That's where that whole Ion TV Scripps Sports thing happens. I think that's their explosion. But I look at some of the other options, and none of them are good. None of them are good. Unless you go fully local, I don't see any other way to put the games on TV and make a good bit of money doing it. I don't see any other way you do that. And again, I think that if I'm the Utah Jazz, I think my feeling is, and I don't know where you guys come down on this, but I think my feeling is, if I'm the Utah Jazz, I'm going 100% stream. I am going to lead the marketplace somehow, some way, with all of my games on stream. Mm-hmm. Because if we're being totally honest, and I was listening to David Locke over the weekend, it's a terrible radio package. It's not good, right? Yeah. The signal absolutely cripples anything that they're able to do. You have KSL radio, but the issue is, like over this weekend, they had BYU men's basketball on. So you're not bumping at KSL. The church is not bumping BYU for the Jazz. That's not happening. But what are your alternatives? Are you going to put the Jazz on a rock station? I mean, if you look at, seriously, the options for Utah Jazz radio, tell me what they are. Because 97.5 and 1280 have terrible radio signals at night. Like, I live in South Jordan. I can't get their radio signal for a good part of from my trip from downtown to South Jordan. You get inside the belt loop, it's over. Yeah. You're done. You get inside the 215, there's no going back. Like, you just can't hear it. Yeah. You can't, and I don't know how else to say that. Like, the 15 out to Tooele, you can't hear it. Anything down Bangerter, you can't hear it. It's incredibly frustrating. And when you do hear it, David Locke refuses to tell you what the score is. Yeah. It is.
That's right, T.
Time and score, please. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for, like, the codes to the nukes, right?
Yeah, I'm not asking for launch codes here.
Time and score, man. But I just don't think there's a whole lot of places for sports to go in this country.
Well, I think for the Jazz, they got to be on the cell phone. I mean, that's just the minimum, and I like where
at a minimum.
That's just the minimum. And I'm someone who consumes sports vigorously. Like, I watch sports all the time on my phone. Like, I know how to do it. It's not difficult, and it's difficult. Admittedly, it's difficult to consume Utah Jazz basketball on your smartphone. You have to have one of two options. DirecTV or not Hulu. There's one, I'll have to pull it up. I can't remember the other option. But anyway, the point is you have two options, basically, and that's it. And they're not widely distributed amongst the younger fan base. And that's why I've been such an advocate of YouTube TV, because every kid in this town knows what YouTube is, and every kid in this town knows how to open their iPhone or their Android and get on YouTube. And
Saturday night, where did we watch a Jazz game?
Yeah.
YouTube TV right here in our studio, right? Like, I mean, you're exactly right. YouTube TV. But I also, the thing that scares me is the NBA app It's the NBA app is, I think, where all this is going. I think the League Pass is going to come in house, and I think the only place to get it is going to be the NBA app. And it scares me because it's really bad. The NBA app right now, like just trying to watch the VW games, they're terrible. Like it does not operate. Now, you're a $1 billion industry. My guess is you're going to figure it out, right? Like Mark Cuban, the original streaming guy. Well, guess what? I'm sure he can help you figure it out. But my point is, like, yes, Amber, exactly right. Fubo TV, and it is pricey. It is not cheap.
Fubo, yeah.
It is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, because we almost subscribed to Fubo to see Pac-12 Network, and we were like, no, we're not paying that for one channel, because you're not on Fubo. Like, but again, Tubi, you have all these streaming options.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, Amber's exactly right. At some point, it becomes cost prohibitive. Because, like, look at Amber. The Baketress I think she has 71 kids. And even though she's married to a real estate mogul and whatnot, I mean, they have this beautiful little family. They have a house. They both work hard. Like, at some point, you start pinching pennies and you're saying to yourself, well,
Pause.
I've got jazz tickets, or I've got friends and we have jazz parties. Because a listener told me the other day, hey, you know what? We all go over to this one guy's house because he's got the league pass and we can watch the Jazz on his big screen TV.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to figure something out.
You're going to somebody else's house every time there's a Jazz game on TV.
Brutal.
Because you can't. And the other thing is, I don't think people understand that Comcast, isn't it Comcast now? You can stream it if you have AT&T.
Yeah.
But how many people here have Comcast?
I don't.
Not many. Not many at all. Like, DirecTV is baked into so many apartments in this town that, like, Comcast has a very small sliver. I just don't know. I don't know what the answer is. By the way, Amber says, oh, geez, haha, 71. She's got a beautiful family, though. I mean, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you have, what do you got? I think you guys have 3 kids. Like, it's life. You have a house, you have kids.
It adds
You're
up,
running
bro.
businesses. You have cars. You have life. You have clothing. I mean, think about your food budget. If you're a family of 5 or 6, think about your food budget.
Final.
I mean, if you're paying for 5 different streaming services, that might be your food for the week.
Back is broken.
Like, how many people can really afford to do that? I can't. I don't think most people can. And maybe it's not even a can, it's a want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it already pisses me off that I've got to have, Amazon Prime, and I've got, like, I was so proud of my wife. Mrs. Monty clipping Netflix out of her life was massive because it's just not worth it. Like, we watched, we watched Mayor of Kingstown yesterday morning, and I thought to myself, justified for paying for Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
Justified for paying for Mayor of Kingstown on Amazon.
Yeah.
Through Paramount. But am I going to go get a Paramount subscription? I'm not. I'm not doing it. But anyway, the point is, you guys get what I'm saying. Amber says 3 kids and so many streaming options to get everything we need to watch, quote unquote, need.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
and
it's
that's
so
the other
frustrating.
thing. Like, when you have kids, it's like need changes definitions daily.
Yeah. Jeff Johnson says, I'm only a family of 4 and I'm at $240 a week on groceries.
Oh my God.
Exactly right.
Bro.
But again, we went to the store last night. Mrs. Monty and I went to Harmon's to get, because we're really into like these shakes now, like these smoothies, right? To get smoothie packs. I think we got some almond milk.
Almonds.
We got some pork chops because I'm going to make pork chops this week. Like, we got a couple of things. We got some like raw coconut. It was $86 for 1 bag of groceries. What are we doing? 86. Like, how many streaming services is that?
A lot.
I don't know. It's a lot. It's exactly a lot. Remick Johnson, welcome to the show. Cartoon Network and Comedy Central to get the Pac-12 TV deal.
Okay, you're going to have to revamp that take, my guy. Too many times have we heard Cartoon Network now.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah, I'm not hating on you.
Everybody
I'm just saying
wants
we got to come up with a fresh take on that. You know what I mean?
Teddy Wayman, my guy, what's up? Yeah, I have Fubo TV just to watch the games. Way too much a month. It's crazy, dude.
Yep.
It is crazy. Tyler says Fubo only works for Jazz games if you live in Utah. Well, yeah, I would guess so, right? Brent Burnett says my HOA has the Jazz. Best HOA in the country. My HOA sucks. James Nelson says, we just talked about this with the snowstorm. We pay part of our HOA dues are for shoveling and plowing. They decided not to shovel or plow. It's fine. Nobody wants to leave.
I'm screwed.
Fubo TV plus League Pass is what I use, $100 a month. $100 a month. And Donut says, cast your phone to your 65. Easy peasy. A lot of programming is not available on Cast.
Yeah.
A lot of programming on your phone cannot be cast to a different device. Intentionally, they do that. Remix says it's difficult to watch jazz in general. It is.
Facts.
Absolutely. DeLambo, what's up, my guy? What the F is up with the games on radio? Thought it was my car. LMFAO, what a joke. It's terrible.
It's not your car.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what, I love this town, but I hate this town sometimes. Like, that's what this town gives you. They give you a crappy radio signal, or they give you like the same thing over and over again. They don't give you that real like thorough, offering where it's like the Jazz and I would guess, again, it's important to say that Ryan is going to do something. Obviously, like, I don't think that a tech billionaire is just going to sit on his hands and not do anything for his TV distribution deal. I would guess that the Jazz are going to be widely available on cell phones after this TV deal is up, but that's just a guess. I don't know. It remains to be seen. But the point just is that, yeah, the radio signal sucks. It's hard to find it on TV. Like, oftentimes, like, I'll say this, the only real reason I have DirecTV is because of the Jazz. If I didn't need to watch Jazz games, I'd be a YouTube TV guy, 100%. Like, I'm gone 15 hours a day. I'm almost never home. Like, when I am home, I'm usually watching League Pass, which I can get without DirecTV. Like, there are ways around that. So for me, I just think that this town tends to do what it's always done, and that has to change at some point.
Yeah, totally agree. The official energy drink of the Monty Show is Bucked Up. Let's go, baby. Get the Bucked Up. Get to buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty. Our guy Darren got the full stack at buckedup.com. I'm telling you, it saves you so much money. Buckedup.com. Get all of your supplements. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off. If you prefer to go into a store, any of the Bucked Up stores in the Valley, in the great state of Utah, in fact, all the way from Logan down to St. George. I love my guys in South Jordan. In the Murray store, they're great. The Orem store is fantastic. I've been to 3-4 of them, and I've never gotten bad service. You go in there and say, hey, I heard about you on the Monty Show. They'll give you a free can of Bucked Up Energy. Tell them you want the Miami. Trust me. Or if you don't want to take my word for it, get the free samples. That's the real hack here.
Yeah.
In the description below, there's a link to get the free samples. You get 3 free samples of your choice. You want pre-workout, whatever it is you want. You want low stim, whatever you need. They have it. They'll give you a free sample of it. In fact, 3 separate ones and a Bucked Up shaker. All you have to do is click the link, get your free samples. They'll send them right to your front door. I think anybody on the program that has gotten a Bucked Up shaker will tell you their money. I love mine. I have 3 or 4 of them now because they're so good. And I love, by the way, if you're a BCAA guy,
yeah,
the Peach Ring BCAAs are amazing. It tastes like the sweet and sour peach rings you get at the store.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. Absolutely amazing. Get your free samples, get your free shaker in the link in the description of the show below. Make sure you tell me you heard about it on the Monty Show. So if you're just tuning in today, kind of what we're talking about is yes, this Pac-12 thing, but I think it's streaming sports in general. And I think the Utah Jazz deal, what do you guys want? Do you want it on cable? Do you want it on satellite?
KUTV.
But do you want it on KSL5? Like, what do you want from the Utah Jazz? Where do you want Utah Jazz games to go? And here's the other question. Where are you comfortable watching games? Because I'm not ready to just watch games on my phone. I'm not ready to do that. I have a beautiful 9,000-inch TV in my living room. I'm a DirecTV guy.
Can you measure it?
I'm telling you, I'm a DirecTV guy. If I'm not DirecTV, I am YouTube TV. Where do you guys want your TV? Because I think this is a huge conversation, and I think our money is going far, far shorter than it used to. It is not going nearly as far. Between gas and food, the cost of raising our kids, like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm a lot more frugal the frugality of my wallet has gone up. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm not buying shoes anymore. Like I'm just trying to keep my money in my pocket.
Yeah.
And for me, sports is a big deal. I want it on my TV. Honestly, I'm happy to subscribe to the League Pass. I'm happy to subscribe to YouTube TV. It's a tax write-off for me. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not willing to subscribe to Paramount Plus. I was watching Chelsea Football Club on USA this weekend, and some of the better games in the Premier League are even on
Peacock.
Like look at RSL this weekend. Real's on Apple TV. Did not watch the match. Didn't see it because I'm not doing it.
No,
I'm not doing it.
Just on principle alone. It has nothing to do with RSL. And I think the big thing for me, I don't care what you want to label it. I don't care if it's called the Ryan Smith TV network. I really don't care. Like, all I want is to be able to turn my TV on and quickly access the game.
Yes.
Or open my iPhone and quickly access the game. And I would like that to be inside of one bill that's under $100 a month. That's what I would like. It's that simple.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Jacob DeLambo says KSL would be sick. The elderly love the Jazz. So you're saying old people watch KSL 5?
Uh-huh.
Well, I got to tell you, not that they ever make episodes of any of the Law and Orders or Chicago PD anymore.
Facts.
Did you guys see they're off until March 23rd?
Casuals.
Scoundrels.
So mid.
Scoundrel. They're off for a month.
What that must be like.
So frustrating. But I wouldn't mind KSL. Easy to get. You can get it anywhere. I mean, they have everything else, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, again, like the 97.5 and 1280, you can't listen to it.
Yeah.
You can't listen to it.
Yeah.
And again, the thing that was disappointing is David Locke has regressed as a broadcaster.
I want to paint this picture. So Saturday, and we're going to talk about this way later in the show. You probably got like 2 hours till we get to this. But, we pick up the new car, awesome experience, had a great time. We come over to the Grizzlies game, watch some hockey, have a bunch of fun, shoot a video, get in the car, go home, right? Drop Mrs. Monty off to do some things, and we go and get some dinner, right, to bring back to the house. Turn the game on. In the new car, thinking, all right, sick. Let's listen to the Jazz while we get some food. And all you hear really is like, and he's barely in the background, like, and it's just like, damn, dude, like, it's not even worth my time. Like, I'll just
at the
wait.
District. So we went to. There's a little Chinese spot at the District.
The Asian Bistro.
Yeah, Asian Bistro 88 or whatever it's called. And you went to More Betters.
More Betters, yeah, where the sinners go.
That's right. And we're driving out of the District, and you can't. It's frustrating to listen to because you get like every other word. You Jazz, Jordan Clarkson, like, and it's just stupid. Like. Ah! And then finally, up on the Parkway, you get like 3 minutes of quality signal, and David Locke doesn't tell you what the score is. He doesn't tell you what the time is. He's giving stats. He's turned into this guy. And I used to really like David Locke, but he's turned into a guy who only talks about stats.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
I just need the time and the score. And I want to know what, like, we're listening to the game the other night, and he's just calling when a bucket goes in.
Well, and you remember, like, what you had said. BYU basketball was on, what was it, 1280, right?
On KSL.
Or KSL, I mean, yeah. And so you turn on KSL, and who do we get?
Well, no, you turn on KSL, what's the first thing you notice? Well, it's beaming through your radio.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's perfect signal. And you get a pro like Greg Wrubell.
I'm talking about, and again, I'm not from Utah. I'm not a BYU guy. I'm just an appreciator of great broadcasting. Greg Wrubell, and I know I don't have to tell a lot of people this, dude is as smooth as it gets. I'm talking about silky smooth, like easy to listen to, doesn't feel like he's trying hard. I know how much time is left. I know the score. I know how many, fouls Buddy has.
And he's actually doing like play-by-play, like ball swings left, underneath, back. David Locke on the Jazz game is like just talking about how what the trend, I think he was talking about like a third quarter trend or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And the game is going on in the background, and you hear the crowd reacting, and he's talking about, hey, this bucket, or with the, and he said somebody's name with the bucket. Talon Horton Tucker, THT with the bucket. And he goes right back into, well, 42% of the time when there's 38% shooting and 46% misses and 50. Dude, shut up and tell me what's going on in the game. Like that.
Look here, man.
David Locke used to be a superior storyteller. And all of a sudden, it's just stats guy. And I don't know what to do with that. Because it was a solid, we were trying to listen for a solid 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And you get very little play-by-play.
And the thing is, if you were on, like, let's say YouTube TV, just as an example, I wouldn't listen on the radio. I'd stream it on my phone. Happily. I'd love to.
But, and not to belabor the point, this is what we talked about on Friday. What are we going to miss about RSL? Bill Riley.
Yeah.
And why? Because Bill Riley's got 20 years calling RSL soccer.
Yeah.
So he can storytell. He can tell you background. He can give you history.
He has context, bro.
And he is really good calling a soccer match. Like he understands flow, build up, energy. And now we're not getting that. Now, again, I didn't listen to the game. I have no idea where the RSL match was on the radio, but I didn't hear it. So I don't know. Did David James do well on the radio? I have no idea. But I know it wasn't Bill Riley. And I know when I flipped over to David Locke, I know what I got there. Greg Obel is a king, dude.
Yeah.
That guy, I don't know what he takes for his brain, but that thing works amazingly. Amazingly.
I'm for real.
Austin Napierski says, I personally love Locke, man. The stats enrich my listening experience. He needs to figure out how to synthesize the play-by-play with those stats. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, we're saying the same thing there. I mean, what we're both saying is essentially that, hey, the stats are great and everything, but who gives a damn about the stats if I don't know what the hell is going on the floor? Like,
you have to tell me what's the play-by-play, not Clarkson with the layup. Like, you're not even getting excited about Jazz basketball because you're so, I honestly think his face is in the stat sheet or on whatever screen is in front of him with stats on it.
Yeah.
It's just great. And by the way, the other thing, somebody please get me more Ron Boone. Like, I love Booner. I love his story. Again, it's his experience in storytelling. It's what I love about Thurl Bailey.
Yeah.
When Thurl Bailey talks about a foul in a certain way, hey, you know, when you hear Thurl Bailey talking about the ability to stop and move your body or control your body, or when I played, or hey, I remember, like, that's what I'm listening to Thurl Bailey for.
Yeah.
It's what drives me crazy about Holly Rowe.
Y'all
Holly
feel me?
Rowe, the next time Holly Rowe interrupts one of his stories, I'm going to lose my mind. Because Big T's a great, great storyteller.
Yeah.
Ron Boone's a great storyteller. Let them tell stories about their days.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for. Anyway, I
Try to stay calm and not curse.
Rick Olson says 23 out of the 25 watching don't care about the Jazz. Well, there's 300 people watching, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but
good luck, bud.
It's fine. Yeah, give me Bailey and Boone on the same broadcast. That would be sick.
Yeah.
Holly MFing Rowe. Don't even get me started, Austin says. Let's see. Hayabusa. The zone signal is garbage around garbage around and north of Hill Air Force Base. When you are driving to work around the base, better make sure you are streaming it or you won't hear it. It's a pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Napierski says, oh, fair. I thought y'all were saying that the stats were all around stupid, useless. No, not at all.
No, I think
Not at all.
what is, it's just what's frustrating is that, you know, like, I love the stat side of the game on the radio specifically. Like, that's what we're talking about on the radio, because it's different on TV, but on the radio, stats matter. But what matters most, this is precisely why I enjoy Greg Wrubell's call, because even if you didn't give me any stats and you do a phenomenal A+ over the top job on describing the game, you know, describing the moment, if I can really picture that in my head when I'm hearing, I'm going to keep listening. But if you can find a way to find that balance where, hey, there was a quick whistle here, hey, stat, and then right back into it, like, that's fine. I'm good with that. But you can't just have all stats and no game picture. That doesn't, like, you have to find that balance.
Have to. There's no other way around it, man. Like, it is so critical that you get.
And I think that side of it.
Stats matter.
Yeah.
The game matters more. especially on the radio. And this is why, before we get back to the Pac-12 thing real quick, this is why David James calling games on the radio is problematic.
Vexes me.
Because on TV, the picture does a lot for itself. On TV, the reason I like David James calling RSL soccer on TV, he did a good job of just letting it breathe. You don't always have to be talking when the ball is moving through the midfield, or when the ball's in the air, or whatever it is on a 50-50 ball. You don't always have to be talking. Just let the ball tell the picture, right? In basketball and in soccer on the radio, you have to constantly be telling us what's going on.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And we don't get that. And again, I'm interested to hear David James call soccer. I've never heard him do it on the radio. It is not the same call on radio as it is on TV. I don't know. Do you guys believe are you confident in the media you're getting? I think that's an interesting question. I really do, because I think you're given what people want you to have. You're not given what you need. You're given what they want to give you.
Right.
And one of the reasons we don't it's funny, not to, pat ourselves on the back again. My shoulder's a little sore today. But we were talking to somebody about a radio job here locally the other day. Like, straight up called us and asked us, hey, we're going to make this kind of change. Would you guys be interested? Like, would you want to do that? And I was like, no, not really. And here's why. And it's interesting hearing what the plans for local radio are, or what people are thinking, or what, people are looking at. I don't know, man. I just don't think it's what you want. I don't think you're getting what you want. I think you're getting what they want.
Well, I think what they want or what's convenient for them. Like, there are a lot of, and I know this is a whole different conversation, but even with the Pac-12 TV deal, I feel like this Pac-12 TV deal, whatever it winds up being, is just going to be another matter of convenience. Another, hey, this is the best we could do, instead of what the fan actually deserves, which is the Pac-12 producing everything in-house and creating a situation where you can get it on your phone. That's what people deserve.
Yeah. Totes. James Knight, what's up, my guy? Bowler is Boris, too. Oh, you don't like Craig Bowler, Jack? He's just older now. With all due respect. Jake doesn't like Bowler either. I don't even think you know Bowler's name.
I don't dislike Bowler. I just don't relate to him. It's just not, I just don't vibe with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's too strong to say the pace of the game's a problem for Bowler. And he is such an endless homer.
Yeah.
Him and Holly are the homer thing. Is terrible. Yeah, please. Rick Olson says, Rip City, what's up, Portland? Bill Shonley recently passed away. Yeah, absolutely a legend. Can you imagine? I mean, the voices of the Pacific Northwest, people don't understand how good they are. They are really, really good. Dale Donut says, have to be honest, hated Al Michaels and Herb Street broadcast. So did I.
Yeah.
I don't think Herb Street's an NFL guy.
I think most people did hate that pairing, too. You're not alone on that.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable at times. Jeff Johnson says, Terry Smith. Oh, Terry Smith. Good dude. I've known Terry for a long time. I used to work when I worked at the good old 570 KLAC, your home for Angels baseball. I knew Terry Smith back then. I still prefer to listen to the games on the radio because of how excellent he's mastered how to do it. Oh, it's awesome. He is fantastic. Brent Burnett says media is highly biased, like Lakers claiming it was LeBron and AD that were heroes yesterday. Oh, it was LeBron, no doubt about it. There is no doubt about that. It was we can disagree, dude. I've watched.
I know that you're not trying to run in here, Brent, with a take that says it was Vando that brought them back. He played a good game. He is a key contributor for them. He is not LeBron James. He is not the sole reason why they came back in that game.
Not at all. Not at all. The block shot on Kyrie Irving was massive. Anthony Davis hitting that turnaround. Anthony Davis dominating the paint. Anthony Davis passing. I hate to say it, Dennis Schroeder made some plays in the last 2 minutes of that game that really mattered.
Yeah.
On a night where Malik Beasley couldn't hit water from the boat. I thought Schroeder gave them some big minutes. And frankly, I thought Austin Reeves being a hard ass last night was really important for them. Honest to goodness,
that was awesome, dude.
I think if you didn't see the game, like the Mavericks were trying to intimidate Austin Reeves. And oddly, and I thought LeBron in a timeout really pepped him up. Like at one point, he had him by the back of his jersey, and you could see they were having a passionate conversation. Austin Reeves is a hard ass. And I think the Mavs were getting in his head a little bit. And then there was just one too many. I'm going to walk by you. You know when you walk by somebody and you just...
Yeah, they give you a little bit.
And that was it. He had had enough. He got in Green's face. And
I'll drop that motherfucker.
It absolutely ended. And what did Austin Reeves do? Turn around and hit a big three from the wing.
Yeah.
That's why the Lakers won the game. Now, what did Vando do? I think Vando's length absolutely played a massive role in shutting down Luka. Not shutting him down. Limiting Luka.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no doubt LeBron's defense on Kyrie. There is no doubt that the way that Anthony Davis rebounded late in that game, the way that Schroeder was slow and methodical with the last 2 minutes, wasn't stupid turning the ball over. LeBron playing through that injury. Dude, Vando was important. He played a very small role in this win. David Hume says, I listened to hundreds of Jazz games as a kid. Listening to Hot Rod, and with the way he called it, I could see the game. Locke, I can't even tell there's a Jazz game on, and it's annoying. I agree. Brady Cook, a member of the program, says it's so frustrating that you have to have one subscription for the NFL and one for the Jazz and one for another. They need to make the place where you pay for one subscription to get all of your sports.
You
totally
ready to cough
agree.
up like $300 for that?
Totally agree. But it's going to have to get cost efficient at some point. It's going to do one of two things. It's going to keep incrementally creeping up until you stop paying for it. And then it'll come down. But once you start paying, this is the Sunday ticket. Once you start paying, they're not going to let you not pay for it. And the other thing that they do with sports is they say, hey, subscribe for 1 year, sign a 1 year deal. We'll give you NFL Sunday ticket for free. Now, I don't know what YouTube TV is going to do with it. Google is a very business savvy company.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. We'll see. Jacob DeLambo says, same thing happened to the Cavs when Don dropped 71. What's that? What did I miss there? Ryan Thomas says, it's more likely the ACC just takes Cal, Stanford, Oregon, and that is absolutely not going to happen. That is not going to happen. You guys got to stop. When it comes to ACC, Pac-12, but you guys just like to throw out these ideas of yours. This, with all due respect, Ryan Thomas, Cal, Stanford, Oregon, and UW are not going to the ACC.
Yeah.
Hear what you're saying. Hear that thought in your head.
With all due respect.
If I'm Washington and Oregon, I'm getting into a conference where I have to fly across the country consistently. Why would they do that? Without a total conference merger, which, by the way, you'd still have to get Washington and Oregon. And I'm telling you, Washington runs the Pac-12 right now because Oregon doesn't have a president. Washington runs the Pac-12, and I think Arizona State's in number 2. Washington's not going to the ACC willingly. And anybody that tells you, oh, it's just, more likely the ACC just takes. Do you understand how bad the ACC is right now? Do you understand that the ACC, I think, is making $17 million a year? The ACC is not a factor in any way, shape, or form.
Because it's garbage.
The ACC ain't taking anybody.
Yeah.
They're just not. I don't know how to break that to you. This drives me crazy. Everybody, all these people that come in and are like, hey, man, the ACC is just, the Big 12's just, there's not like the Big 12 fans right now. Well, we're taking schools from the Pac-12. Oh, really?
Hey, guys.
Oh, really? Well, you let me know when that happens. Because nobody is calling the Big 12 like, man, we're really desperate. You got to let us in. Dude, nobody is doing that. No, frankly, in my opinion, if the Big Ten had a commissioner, I would tell you before April 1st, they would have expanded with Pac-12 teams. But Kevin Warren's going to the Chicago Bears, and they don't have a replacement yet.
Yeah.
You guys got to stop with this ridiculous rumor mongering. There is no sense of any sort that the ACC just takes, well, we'll settle. Fucking Washington, we'll settle. It's the Husky. I mean, if we gotta take them, I mean, if you're gonna twist my arm like this, I guess we'll take Oregon. The damn Ducks,
Gonzaga.
I fine. Are you kidding me right now? They just take them.
Yeah.
Because they're nice guys. They're going to take our dead weight here in Washington and Oregon. I mean,
Fucking donkey.
man, what a break that they took Oregon from us.
Did us a favor.
Woo! I would get out of here. Get out of here, man. Like, what are you talking about? Drives me crazy. Let's see. Curtis D316. So the Big Ten is getting ready to kill the Pac-12 with 4 more schools. I do believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to call it call it what you want. I think that the Big Ten, and it's been described to me a couple of ways. Frankly, it's all rumor at this point. But I was told that the Big Ten was more interested in Stanford and Cal because they're looking to balance their education against Oregon and Washington. Because Oregon is not a well thought of educational institution. So,
yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see. You have
to use logic, bro. You can't. The ACC thing is prime for tinfoil hat guy to be talking about. Washington and Oregon to the ACC is one of the silliest things I've ever heard, man.
Yeah.
And it's not personal to you, Ryan. I think your name was. That's just not going to happen.
I love that everybody looks at Oregon and Washington or Stanford and Cal like, oh man,
for instance,
like Cal's a bit of dead weight, but their academics are so strong that it offsets almost every crappy badminton and field hockey team you got to take from them, right?
How about that?
But at some point, you have to register in your brain that Stanford is of real value. There is heavy value on Stanford because they are one of the finest educational houses in this country.
Yeah.
They compete with anybody. Do you really think that Northwestern's in the Big Ten for athletics? The occasional football relevancy? No, friends. They're in the Big Ten because they are an academic powerhouse.
Facts.
Right? I don't know how else to get people to understand that you're not doing favors for or pity me. It doesn't work that way, dude.
They're casual.
It doesn't work that way. And I hope people will understand at some point you need to settle down. And you need to really kind of say to yourself, does it make sense that the ACC's just going to take them off our hands? Golly, thanks.
Infowars.com.
Does that make sense? Or furthermore, maybe what really makes sense is UCLA and USC need somewhere to play football games that's not out on the other side of the Rocky Mountains. I mean, does anybody think about that? And by the way, am I the only Utah fan that's like, hey, man, maybe you guys ought to be proactively looking at something?
Oh, but we're not going anywhere. We're not leaving.
And I will continue to say, as much as I appreciate the facilities and the infrastructure because I think they are spectacular, it feels like Utah, and it's been explained to me that Utah's just kind of going where the current takes them. And it's a huge mistake. I'm telling you now, it's a huge mistake. Because Utah football, look at what women's basketball is doing right now. Look what the Red Rocks are doing right now. Like, there's real value in this athletic department, and there's real value in the academics at Utah. You deserve better than Chris Hill saying, well, we're not leaving the Pac-10 because all our fan base is in the Bay Area. You deserve better than Mark Harlan saying, we're not leaving.
You out of your goddamn mind.
Come on, man. Come on. Like,
Yeah, be better.
It's just frustrating to me. It is. Gabriel says, afternoon, Monty.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty programmers.
Hey, Monty, let's get our tinfoil hats out over the APAC.
He says more Pac-10 kerfuffle on the menu today. Indeed.
Damn right. Let's get some kerfuffles with Ridges.
Before football at 50, Tyler P says, I think it's hilarious that the non-Utah fans in this chat honestly think that we actually care about the TV deal conversation. Newsflash, we don't care. Dude, I'm telling you, you better.
Tyler, I can't wait.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You don't care about the TV. Actually, chat, honestly think that we actually care about the TV deal conversation. What do you mean by that?